In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a battle that was going on with the first king of Israel, and how if King Saul had actually read the art of war, maybe he would have been more successful. And I'm going to share with you real quick the difference between King Saul and King David based on the art of war. So let me just go to the first chapter here. I'm just actually going through this book, so let me just find it. All right, very first main plans. We're going to talk a little bit about the moral law here. So there's different ways to approach warfare, and Sun Tzu lays out all the plans. Basically, there's the moral law, heaven, earth, the commander, method, and discipline. And what I'm going to do in future videos is I'm going to share the scripture, and then I'm going to compare it to the strategies that Sun Tzu suggests using right out of this book here, The Art of War. So if we go to the moral law, this is, the moral law causes the people to be in complete accord with their ruler, so that they will follow him regardless of their lives, undismayed by any danger. So that is a definition of the moral law. So if we go over here to scripture, we go to 1 Samuel. Jonathan is laying war to the Philistines, and they're basically battling the Philistines for days, if not weeks. And Saul made an oath, unbeknownst to Jonathan. He said here, verse 24, this is chapter 14, verse 24. And the men of Israel were distressed that day, for Saul had adjured the people, saying, Cursed be any man that eateth any food until evening, that I might be avenged on mine enemies. So none of the people tasted any food. And all they of the land came to a wood, and there was honey upon the ground. And when the people were come into the wood, behold, the honey dropped. But no man put his hand to his mouth, for the people feared the oath. But Jonathan heard not when his father charged the people with the oath. Wherefore he put forth the end of his rod that was in his hand, and dipped it in a honeycomb, and put his hand to his mouth, and his eyes were enlightened. Then answered one of the people, notice right after he did that, then answered one of the people and said, Thy father straightly charged people with an oath, saying, Cursed be any man that eateth any food this day. Then Jonathan said, My father has troubled the land. See, I pray you, how mine eyes have been enlightened, because I have tasted a little of this honey. How much more if haply the people had eaten freely today of the spoil of their enemies which they found? For if there had not been now, how much a greater slaughter among the Philistines? As in, if we were able to eat, we would have done a lot better. So then Saul finds out about it. And Saul answered, God do so more also, for thou shalt surely die, Jonathan. And the people said unto Saul, Shall Jonathan die, who hath wrought this great salvation in Israel? God forbid. As the Lord liveth, there shall not one hair of his head fall to the ground, for he hath wrought with God this day. So the people rescued Jonathan, that he died not. Then Saul went up from following the Philistines, and the Philistines went to their own place. And afterwards, Saul basically was never the same after that. But if you go to King David, and I'll wrap this up real quick, King David to 400 men. Here's the difference. David therefore departed thence, and escaped to the cave Adullam. And when his brethren and all his father's house heard it, they went down thither to him. Every one that was in distress, and every one that was in debt, and every one that was discontented, gathered themselves unto him, and he became a captain over them. And there were with him about 400 men. So these men were sick of how Saul was leading the country. They were discontented. They were in debt. They were stressed out with their family, being separated from their family, all kinds of stuff. And they came to David and made him captain. That's the difference between King Saul and King David. If you like this kind of thing, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.